Welcome to Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. My name is Rosalina Africano and I'm your host. My guest, Colin Asare-appiah.
Yes!
and his co-author, Tamika Hall. It is such a delight to invite you to the Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. So I'd love to find out more about you. And before I start to muddle my words, if you'll please tell me for whom you work, as well as your position.
My name is Tamika Hall. I'm co-author with Black Mixcellence. I am senior manager of the community programming for a global sports brand, as well as a freelance writer / author on the side. So I wear two hats.
Of course.
I wear one hat, and I work for a global liquor company as the trade director for multicultural and LGBTQ plus advocacy. Yep, I know it sounds like a mouthful, but what it means is we intentionally go out of our way to ensure that we elevate Black and brown and LGBTQ plus businesses, bartenders and communities within the industry to ensure that there's a level playing field for everyone in the industry, not just here in the US, but globally.
And here we are. Thank you for joining me, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
I'd really love to hear more about your book. Can you please tell me what inspired you to write it? Can you tell me how we got to this point that you've sold out all of your books at Tales of the Cocktails in 15 minutes? Is that correct?
15 minutes.
How many books did you bring?
60 books in 15 minutes.
60 books in 15 minutes. Can I tell you how grateful I am that I swooped in to grab my
came
copy?
at the perfect time.
I mean, because they were waning.
Yeah.
They were waning.
Yeah.
Please.
After you.
So the idea for the book initially was to showcase cocktails from Black and brown mixologists. However, I repitched the idea of the book to include some history and some talk about what where we started in the industry, where we've gone, some of the things that we've done, some of the accomplishments, and how we took a service industry and turned it into a lifestyle, and for some a livelihood, because that's how we had to make a living, and for some by their freedom.
Yeah, I really appreciated the fact that during the course of the book, actually, we managed to really unearth some amazing stories of bartenders that people had never heard of, and some bartenders that had been lost in history, and really bringing their stories to the fore. But then also helping to elevate Black mixologists that are alive now, because that's really important to celebrate where we are now. I actually had a moment last week, I don't know if I told you about it, but I was sitting in a bookstore signing some copies of the book at McNally Jackson. I'm signing copies of the book, and it just dawned on me that 2 generations behind me, you couldn't have written any recipes down. Mm-hmm. You couldn't, because if you did, it could have been a death sentence, because Black and brown people weren't allowed to read or write, it was really amazing that, just 2-3 generations forward, and I'm sat here actually writing and signing my name in a cocktail book that Tamika and I put together.
It's really profound to feel what you just said, and I feel it very closely. Would you please tell me about someone in this book that has inspired you and really given you motivation to an inspiration?
Man, of course you put me on the spot. Of course.
I can always go first, but.
So I think, to be totally honest, on some level, everyone that I spoke to inspired me. I know that's like the cop-out answer, but I'm gonna dig a little deeper. So, for example, when I interviewed Colin, and he told me that he decided to journey overseas after school before taking a, whole job, that he went overseas, and he ended up in the field because he had to make money, because he ran out and Dad said no more.
Yeah, I ran out my dad said no more, you can't have any more.
Yeah, so him speaking to having, a degree and going through all this rigorous schooling, but fell in love with the idea that him working with people and serving people and making these drinks was more of an appeal to him, and that's why he was doing it, was inspiring, because I think a lot of us follow the trail of what we think our parents want to do, and following your passion in that field is great. And I think on some level, all of the mixologists ended up in that field for that reason. I don't think anyone ever said, I went to school to be a mixologist, and now here I am. Everyone was doing something else, and they had some kind of experience when they were in the field, and that's what made them lean in that direction. So I think it's the following of passion, this is what I want to do, it's the serving people. And while mixology from 400 years ago was a service industry, it was a mandated service.
Right.
Now we're providing a service that we really take to heart, and we value the experience that we want to deliver and the feeling that people get. I'm saying we like I'm a mixologist. I'm not a mixologist.
You are now after making cocktails
we're now
out of
in
the
the
book.
industry. Welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and sometimes it's just easy to walk the path that is crystal clear laid out in front of you.
Sure.
When you veer off of that path, sometimes you find that your destiny puts you right back where you belong.
Yeah.
And if you walk down that path straight and narrow, you realize this is easy. This is where I'm meant to be. And I hear that when you tell me that story. Yeah?
And just to jump on what you said, just that part about myself falling in love with the industry, and also find it and the stories in the book. When we were doing the research for the book, we realized that there was a lot of bartenders, a lot of correlations and similarities between how we all got into the industry. And for me, it was the stories initially it was the stories of the people that have created the spirits that we imbibe. And coming from Ghana, we have a really rich history of oral traditions and culture, and it was just great. And storytelling is massive in our culture, as you know.
As I know.
And I was really drawn to the industry, firstly for that, and secondly because I felt that as a black man in the industry, I could really make some kind of change. I didn't really see people that looked like myself. I saw people that looked like myself coming into the bars, not necessarily serving people that came in. But
let's talk about the drink we're having today.
Oh, of course.
This actually came very gingerly handled all the way from Accra, Ghana. This is Sobolo.
Yes.
This is Sobolo, and we added some bitters to it that were also acquired in Ghana. I'm not repping for anybody, so we're just talking about it. Anyway, it's quite delicious. I always love a good red drink.
Oh, it's great that you talk about the red drink, because the red drink is really synonymous with African American culture. Because during the emancipation of slavery, to celebrate their freedom, slaves drank red cocktail, and that red cocktail contained what is known, we know in Africa as sobolo, but everywhere else is known as sorrel or sorrel.
Yes. Hibiscus.
Oh, hibiscus, yes.
Ginger.
Yep.
Nutmeg. Help me.
Clove.
Clove, yes.
Clove and anise.
And anise.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And also you can put allspice. In the Caribbean, they use a lot of allspice, and they use orange zest as well.
Yep.
And I absolutely love following this drink around the world, because it's similar wherever you go, but then it changes. It's a big part of our culture. And a lot of the recipes in this book actually lean on a lot of the ingredients that you'll find in many Caribbean, West African or African or African American kitchens. And it's great that we can really celebrate our culture. Tamarin's a flavor that I've loved forever, and I remember years ago when I started using it, people were like, what is that? So I used to infuse it with my whiskey. And make it into cocktails.
I think there's
and
a
now
drink
I see tamarind everywhere. I mean, sorrel is becoming kind of ubiquitous. You're seeing it everywhere.
You are.
Even Jackie Summer has brought out Sorrel, which is a great brand that I love.
We have a little bottle of Sorrel we're representing.
I love it. It's one of the fastest growing liqueur brands in the world.
It certainly is, and it's really well recognized and awarded. It's really taking off. The red drink in a liqueur form is really taking off in the States. It's very exciting.
About time.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
come on. Wait
Well,
for it.
cheers. It is such a
Cheers.
delight to have you join me today for Perfect Cocktail Pursuits.
Thank you for having
It
us.
was really, really lovely. The book is Black Mixcellence. Please find one on Amazon, your local bookstore. Where else might they find it?
It's in Barnes and Noble, it's in Target, Walmart, Powell's in Portland, and McNally Jackson, which is based in New York City. They have they're an independent bookseller. They have a few stores in New York, and I believe they're opening a store in another location very soon, but they have it as well.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you so much for joining us again. This is Perfect Cocktail Pursuits. My name is Rosalina Africano, and we'll see you next time.